G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat, this will be my Knackers Yard. I've got over my funk, predominantly due to you guys as much as anything else, but you know, my funk being all my bikes stopped working. Chucked up a video, managed to get my CX500 running again, which I'm fucking ecstatic about, and it is sweet. And it turned out to be something really simple, i.e. spark plugs in this case. So that's really good. So I have a day ride and it's beautiful weather at the moment. Probably not going to last, but that sounds very British, doesn't it? But we'll see how we go. But I've got the wonderful blue meanie that is Otto, my CX500 calf, which is going to be my ride for now. Ivan sat behind me just off screen. My header bolt snapped, and the plan was to just chuck it at the garage to get it fixed, which is going to cost me ultimately a fortune. And particular thanks to Charlie Motorcycle Rescue, came up with the best solution that I hadn't thought of for some reason. That's just to swap the headers out, and he even found some headers for me, which I have ordered. Cheers, Charlie. So that'll arrive during the week. Charlie even offered to help me, but he offered to help me next week, and I'm back at work, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But I'm holding that in reserve because that may be one for later on once I've got it squared away, etc., to mount. Now, from the pictures, and I'll chuck up the pictures for your view as well, I think the header bolts look a little bit shagged on the one that I bought as well, although they are all there. I may well see if I can clear them up and clean them out and chuck them on. There is part of me that feels like I'm delaying the issue that I've had with this, where eventually they're just going to shit themselves kids' way. So I'm tempted to do with the new header what I was going to do with this, i.e. put it on the bench and see if I can get those bolts out by various methods. And it might be an interesting experiment to see whether or not, for one, I can get them out, for two, what process I use, whether it's 2 bolts, nip them up together and whap them off that way, whether it's welding something on the top or whether or not it's using an extractor, I don't know. Worst case scenario on that, I could find myself in the same position I am now, i.e. with snap bolts flush, but at least I've got the header out, so I can send that off to get that drilled properly rather than try and do it in garage kit. And a couple of you guys have said about carbide bits you need, etc., etc. For that amount of cock around, I'd rather send it away and get it done professionally by somebody with, you know, if nothing else, a pillar drill, which I don't have. So it will just be me with a hand drill, flopping around, knocking it around in various directions, etc. There's times where I believe discretion's a better part of valor, and you're better off just getting somebody else to do it. So that will arrive during the week at some point. We'll have a look when it arrives, and then I think we'll make a decision as to I will make a decision as to whether or not those header bolts are fine as is, at which point I'll then start stripping down Ivan and getting on with it. And then we'll just crack on. And I've got Otto, the blue CX500 as a runaround till then. I was bored. I was bored thinking, well, I've got 2 failed projects, one new project in terms of my day rider, and my last project is now my day rider. I need more complication in my life. I need another bike. Now, what bikes do I choose? I am, for those that watch regularly, on the edge of the ultra-low emission zone, or the expanded ultra-low emission zone in London, so out in the burbs. It is pretty much in spitting range from here. My bike riding takes me into central London, but most people around here don't really do that. But having a bike that is restricted to non-ULEZ zones is a restriction you don't want on a bike. You need to plan your routes a little bit better, etc., and it's just not quite the thing. So I tend to aim for things that are either ultra-low emission zone compliant, so 2010 onwards, or 40 years old historic vehicles backwards, or something that could be made to fit in that interzone. And you can get bikes through tests to get them through ULEZ zones, but it's not cheap frankly, and there isn't really a guarantee. So I was looking at historic vehicles, looking at older vehicles. What I found was a 1983 bike that was registered in the UK in 1998. Now, depending on where you look on Tintranet, it says the historic vehicle starts on registration or it starts on manufacture. This says on the V5 that it was manufactured in 83, so I think I've got to fight within that to see if I can get it historically registered. That's an aside. The reason I got it is because it's batshit fucking crazy. Yeah, so once it was a XV750 Honda. It's not really that anymore. XT, beg your pardon, 750. It's not really that anymore. I got it because it was fitted Nat's ultimate criteria. One, it was cheap. Two, it was local. And it was very local. So I drove out yesterday, had a look with the guy and his son. It's they do projects. Their current project is a car, it's a Corvette. I wish I'd taken some photos. It's amazing. And they'd taken this bike in a couple of years ago as part exchange for a previous project they'd done. Basically parked it up for a couple of years. Need the space for this new Corvette, so they're flogging it off pretty cheap. So I grabbed it. And actually what made life even easier was the dad out there. I don't want to say the old man, I think he's younger than I am. The dad dropped it off in his van that evening, or yesterday evening. So it starts, it runs, brackets badly, it needs a good clean out. As a tertiary view, let's have a look. It's an interesting one. And I'm quite looking forward to a play. I'm also quite looking forward to starting it up, but it's really loud. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so wobbly hand cam time. We've got Beauty and the Beast. Guess which is which? Definitely Beauty. Definitely a beast. Ooh, even the camera doesn't want to focus on it. Now, it's got some pretty funky paintwork that I can't even come near. Got the googly eyes. A little bit of zombie scratchy facey outy. Oh, kick in my frame. A bit more scullage. But the tank. Bit of a pirate. It's really quite good. I'm quite impressed. I kind of look at it and think, I can't get rid of that paint. I can't get rid of it. I don't like it, but I can't get rid of it. Can't beat a bit of anchor and a few bolts. Even the front mudguard, although it does have a catch out of it going back to the gold underneath there. But yeah, it is just weird. It's got his little peanut tank over the top. V-twin 4 sparks, which is not seen before. The coils are too short to fit on there, so they're not the proper ones, but they seem to work. Can't be a bit of ape hangers. That seat is strange, but is a custom made US thing. I think it was a US import once. It's got a lovely fuel oil pressure gauge on it with the added water feature in it as well. It does have oil in it. I'm not entirely sure how much, but it does have oil in it. It is. Oh, I've got dodgy back at the moment, so this could be interesting. But you kind of, the weirdest sitting position. You kind of feel like you're sitting under the bars, which is really weird. But it's just going to feel the weirdest thing ever. It is, in a word, ugly. But parents even love ugly children. Right, it's 10:30. I'm going to try and start it. I did chuck the battery on last night. I did try and start it last night, but it wasn't playing. When I went to look at it yesterday, it did start, but it's rough as you like. So, job one today is that carb off. doesn't have, and I've looked at a few pictures of the XTs, and it's got the central carb in the middle with a big air filter on the side. This has just got the one massive carb with a manifold across the two, and just the largest filter I've ever seen. Now that it's not bolted on that side, it is on that side. It's all a little bit Now the carb actually looks quite clean, but I think I might just whip it off and see what it's like inside. I might try and drain it first, because I think I might be able to get to it from underneath, which would mean I wouldn't have to remove the whole carb. Obviously I'm going to, because I want to clean it properly, but yeah, I could theoretically. No, I'm going to take it off and do it properly. It might be a quick clean another time to see if I can do it that way, but let's see if we can find any life in the old dog. Birds are singing. Let's see if we can scare them all away if it starts. Actually, I'll show you. Lakeside, Harley Davidson, West Thurrock, Essex. Nice. He says, now can't get the key back in it. There we go. We'll go choke. Proper thumper. Feels like it's running on 1.5, so high side thumping away, popping more on the left. See my hand bouncing off. Yeah, it's got a lot more on the right than the left. What it's dripping out the exhaust, but we'll see. Doesn't taste like fuel. That's full beam headlights. Leave that to run for a little bit. You don't necessarily need to leave you listening and watching. Right, so as soon as you touch the throttle, it seems to want to die off. As soon as you try and take the choke off, it seems to want to die off. I'm going to leave it for a minute and then try that again. Right, I let it run here for a little while, see if it cleared up. I even tried a little bit more restriction on the air intake by just jamming the rag behind the air filter, but with no real joy. Interesting. Right. I think it's carb off, give it a clean, see what happens. I think I'll whip that tank off. Come on, you bitch. I think I'll whip the tank off first, just to see if I can get it out of the way as much as anything else. It just looks like a couple of bolts on there. One at the top, a couple of Allens and the seat. In fact, I've had the seat off. Because I stuck the battery on charge overnight. Right, let me just show you this. It's a big old heavy unit, and it is La Pera Enterprises Inc. North Hollywood, California. Handcrafted in the USA. There you go, put some tariffs on that, it'll be fine. Made in the USA. Bloody heavy. It's really heavy. Right, let's have a look under that. Now this all looks custom wiry to me. It doesn't look very loomy. Don't know. Any owners out there that could tell me? Main fuse, that'd be worth knowing. What's that a mini fuse for? Something. Anyway, I don't want to get into that too much. Let's do the final bits of what works and what don't. So, lights work, indicators. This vehicle is reversing. Brakes light work. Rear one gets stuck on. Yeah, rear's a bit sticky. All works fine. Forks look fine, if a little bit Liberace. Got no lipping on the brakes. Pads look, yeah, okay. Front is a little bit binding, to be brutally honest. Back's still got some adjustment left in it. Rear number plate is wedged with a bit of cardboard. Nice. Classy. Yeah, well, what do you think? I'm going to have to put the seat back on because I need a photo. But yeah, welcome to the new project. Normal question on the new project. What do I call him? And just how ugly is that bike? And is it ugly enough to make it cool? Cheers all. I'll catch you later. Ta-da. I'm editing. What? What do you want? I'm trying to edit my video. There are people waiting for this, you lunatic dog. Yes, you're terrifying. You're the most scary fluff ball in the world. Enough.